We started in September. I came in September. It's October now. I've closed 4 or 5 new clients just in that time frame, and literally following exactly what you said to do. And now I have a deal that's closing today that's going to get us to 11,000 a month.
Okay, so I am here with Jason Reeves. And Jason, can you just give the audience a brief introduction about who you are, what your AI agency looks like, and ultimately, what things have kind of looked like for you prior to partnering up with us to help you out with your AI agency?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jason Reeves. I run a AI agency called 1-800-POWER. We work with home service contractors, a lot of electricians, and I've been running this for a few months now. I think it started back in June. It is October now. And before I started working with you guys, I had some experience running ads, running an agency, doing some of the paid ad stuff, running Facebook ads. But I really wanted to get into offering AI services, and I just didn't know how to. And so I did a bunch of stuff. I was looking on YouTube, going down rabbit holes, all that good stuff, going through other people's courses. And I stumbled upon your YouTube channel and I loved it. I watched all the videos. You walk through some of the services that you were offering for, your agency and your clients. And before I entered into the program, I actually started kind of building out some of the systems, some of the AI systems that you were mentioning on the YouTube channel. And so did that for a month or two. I didn't have very good systems for getting clients or fulfilling clients. I didn't have like, hey, this is exactly what you should be doing. And so, it was hit or miss, right? We did some, decent results. I got some clients, but then jumped on into the program and it was great. Like from the very beginning, we had our call, we reviewed, where I was at, where I was, looking to get to, and came into the program, went through all the onboarding stuff, went through the course, was jumping on, all the stuff that you offer inside of the program. And it was night and day, right? I tried so many other like similar like mentorship programs like in the past for all different sorts of things, all the big like gurus that just give out like basic information, but it's not like up to date and like applicable to like the market now. And so that was one of the really big things that I liked about coming in was, you guys obviously do very, very well for, your clients in your agency. And that was and also another thing, right? Because do I want to learn from somebody that they make their money like selling courses or from somebody that's actually doing it and, getting amazing results and, has a bid out for, people wanting to acquire the company, right? So that was like a super big thing. And so came in and, just started like immediately, right? Going through all of it. You guys were super, super helpful, the one-on-one time. And like I said, it was a night and day difference. Came in, I had a couple clients to start with. We started running paid advertising. My previous system for getting clients was LinkedIn DMs. And like I got a couple clients before, but it just wasn't very scalable, right? I maybe had 1 or 2 calls like a week, like max. And so came in, I followed the processes that you guys put out, and it's literally step by step. It's, hey, you need to do this exactly. You need to click this button. You need to watch this thing. You need to do this. And all I literally did was exactly what you said. I didn't come in and say, oh, let me put my own spin on things. It was written out very well. All the videos, all the one-on-one help, I did it. We started running paid advertising for client acquisition. And I think I booked, like doing the exact system that you guys said, I think I booked out like 10 or 15 sales calls in the first week. And like right then, I'm thinking back now, one of the very first sales calls that I jumped on, I closed them on as a client. Like it took a little bit to follow up with them, right? Had the call, but kept in touch. And that was a $2,000 a month retainer right there. And that was the very first day that I started running ads. And so I've been doing that for a while. It's going really, really good. I've closed, I think, 4 or 5 clients in the past. So we started in September. I came in September. It's October now. I've closed 4 or 5 new clients just in that time frame, and literally following exactly what you said to do. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously incredible. And as far as, when you did kind of like come into this working with us, what was your revenue at? And then what has your revenue gotten to now?
So I was at around 3,500, 4,000. I can't remember exactly, but I had a couple clients, and now I have a deal that's closing today. That's going to get us to 11,000 a month. So I added 7,000 MRR in 30 days from just doing exactly what you said to do, and it works very, very well.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, right? Because like I like how you kind of keep saying doing exactly what we told you to do, because like when you say exactly what we told you to do, like you literally mean exactly what we told you to do, from like copying and pasting the ads along with like the sales process too, right? That legitimately left you to sign up 5 new customers and then obviously increase your recurring revenue from like 4K, 3.5K to over 11K a month right now. So, what would you say, because you mentioned that you've done a lot of things in the past as far as, investing into programs to try and help you make more money. What would you say has been your favorite aspect of, working with myself and Michael that is different from other things that you've done in the past? And then, also, what would you say are some of those things that, I guess just really, you've just really enjoyed compared to some of the other things that you've done in the past? Because, you started in June and you've been doing this now for June, July, August, September. So you've been doing it for about 3 months and you got to about 3.5K in reoccurring revenue, which isn't bad. I can remember for me, when I got started, it took us like 6 months to get our first client. But then after that, we were able to really, really move. And that was 7 years ago. But obviously to go from 3.5K a month in like 90 days and then to over double that in 30 days just by doing things a little bit different from what you were doing and obviously getting some help from us, that's a big, big change, right? And like there's a lot more in store, obviously, for you, considering this is only the first month of you really changing up your processes, right? And when you change your processes, there's a learning curve, there's a lag time for you to get around to actually become very competent because you're not as familiar. You've only been doing this for like 30 days. And right, we know there's definitely some areas that you can improve on a lot that you've already made a ton of progress in, which I'm just really excited to see like what you do in the next 90 days, because I think, you'll easily be able to get your business to be doing more money than you probably ever thought it could be in the time that, you'll get it there. So, tell me a little bit about what some of those things are that you would say have just been really those standout things when it came to working with, myself and Michael.
100%. And the biggest thing that I really, really enjoy about working with you guys, being in the program, is the one-on-one support. Like, for sure. Like, it's investing your money into having access to, someone that is exactly where you want to be at. Like, that is invaluable compared to like other courses I've been in. It's just like, oh, here's like course videos, here's documents, like follow it, whatever. It's with you guys, it's all of the information that you give us in the course, but then also getting the validation of, hey, I have a question, I'm not sure what I need to do. It's a quick message and it's a very quick response. Oh, hey, yes, or this is what you need to do, or do this instead. It's just the validation of knowing that the decisions that I'm making in the business are the right decisions, and that it's coming from you guys who have, been there before in my exact position, and like, hey, do this. And so that's by far like the biggest thing, and what made the entire investment worth it. Like, if it was just that, worth it, like completely. But then it's all the added stuff you guys do on top of that, like like you were saying earlier, the copy and paste, right? Whenever the reason I keep bringing up like, hey, I just did exactly what they said, is because it's it's literally that, like, to the point of I've been in other courses and other programs where it's like, okay, you need to do this for your agency, but the person teaching or who, is selling the course or the mentorship or whatever, right? They're not doing like exactly what you're doing, right? You could be running home services industry, but it's like an e-commerce guy teaching you how to run, client acquisition for that. Like it's like kind of the same, but like there's nuances in it that everything else that I've tried before has not gotten me to where I want to be. It has not gotten me to where I'm at right now. The only thing that's done that is the past 30 days, like being inside here. And so, um, it is funny to think about that, I was like, okay, let me go down, let me get all this information from all these different people, right? I'll take this from this person, this from this person, this course, this, whatever. It is information overload. And I'm super big on if I know a process works and it's like, hey, I know these guys have done where I'm trying to get to, let me only listen to them. And that's what I've done. The past 30 days, blinders on, literally the only information I've consumed about growing my AI agency is from you guys. And I've gone from 3.5, 4K to over $10,000 a month in 30 days. And so it's crazy. So all the information, the one-on-one is great. The community is great, right? Being in there with other people that are doing the same thing, bounce ideas off of people, jumping on the coaching calls, right? That's phenomenal, right? You get an hour a day where you just go in and have direct access to you guys, instant real-time feedback on, hey, let me share my screen real quick and show you the problem that I'm running into. And then you or Michael was like, oh, okay, perfect. Do this. Like, phenomenal. That's great. I love that. And then you go and do it. And then there's been plenty of times where you and I have jumping on calls, right? I've jumped on your calls and, I walk through my sales process and I say, oh, like this is what I'm running into. And you're like, okay, I ran into that as well. This is what we did to fix that. This is the proof behind that. Whenever I did it like this, we got a lot more clients. And so that's been super valuable. It changed a lot in my sales process directly from you. That has been huge. I wouldn't have been able to close those 4 or 5 clients in such like rapid succession without having the correct sales process for like this model specifically. And it's like a proven process too. So the one-on-ones, the community, the course, everything, it's just amazing.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like really just the fact that obviously you're working with people who are doing exactly what you're trying to do, ultimately where you're trying to take your business. And it's a very, very similar business, obviously with the market being the only difference, but even the businesses themselves are very similar, right? They're brick and mortar businesses that are appointment based and they need to get appointments, right? So very, very similar businesses from that standpoint. And then obviously when it comes to just getting support on the problems that you're facing right away, you're able to get access to Michael and I so that we can tell you like, nope, you got to stop doing this. You got to start doing that. Because I know we've had a couple of those conversations and it's a lot of fun because obviously you just don't know because you haven't had the experience of us trying so many different things and us having done it for so long that we can really quickly just say, hey, like, just don't do that. Start doing this and you'll get a much different result than what you're getting right now. And I think we've seen that happen with a couple things, specifically like in the sales process and ads, which is awesome to see. So one thing I wanted to ask on, because, when it comes to building a business like this, you could know exactly how to get people results and you could be really good at that. But if you can't get appointments for your own business, and if you can't get them to show up to a call, if you can't convince them or have a productive conversation with them about how you're going to help them to ultimately get them to say, yes, I want to work with you and I want you to help me grow my business, you're not going to be able to have a business, right? Like nothing else really matters if you can't do that. And I know for you, obviously your strategy before you started working with us was very different than it is now. So, can you walk me through what that like change has been like going from doing LinkedIn DMs and hopefully trying to get appointments that way? And then obviously your old sales process to now running ads and having a new sales process? Because I know obviously you got like 3 customers in like 3 months or maybe 4 months, but you had very few appointments as well, right? Like you were kind of scraping by, really hoping to get appointments, where now I think you had spent like right around $1,000 or less than $1,000 on ads. And I don't know how many appointments you've had, but I know you've definitely made your money back, obviously, with regards to the money you've spent, right? You've added on over $7,000 in reoccurring revenue from that $1,000 in ads in 30 days. So if you can retain those customers for, let's say, 3 months, maybe you retain one for a year, your return on that $1,000 is going to be like insane, right? So can you just like walk me through what that shift has been like, and mentally what that's done to you? Because I know when I realized we knew how to get appointments on demand and we weren't concerned about that at all, and I was confident in my ability to close people and teach people how to close people, like I've helped with you, I was like, all right, I know exactly how to make millions of dollars now. I was like, there's nothing, I'm not worried about anything, because, once you have that, everything else is easy. Even if you don't know how to get people results, if you know how to constantly get customers, you'll be able to figure out how to get people results through, just trial and erroring that. But can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I would imagine that's been a little bit of an exciting shift, going from not really knowing how to get customers to now knowing like I can definitely get customers.
100%. It has been very exciting because now it's, at this rate, I'm on track to what I've done so far is sign 1 to 2 new clients a week. Anywhere from charging them $500 a month all the way up to $2,500, and the average being around 2,000. And so it's been very, very exciting because now I know that I have a consistent and reliable source of new leads and a process to convert those new leads into appointments that I can then have a conversation with, and then I'm going to close a percentage of them. Then they're going to pay me, thousands of dollars a month. And I know that I have a back-end fulfillment system to actually fulfill that. And so the mental shift has been, it's been a very drastic one. It's happened very quickly, but compared to how it was before, is I would go and I would send a connection request on LinkedIn, and that worked with me, a little bit. I signed a couple clients. I probably sent 1,500 connection requests. And then people that connected back, I would DM them. I would, pitch a little bit. And then of those, I maybe had 3 or 4 calls in like a 3-month period, like before then. And so now, I knew that I always needed to run ads. Like I knew that other people were successful doing it. I know that they scaled agencies that way. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know like, hey, this is exactly what I need to do. And so what I did was I stopped doing LinkedIn DMs entirely. I switched just to paid ads. I followed the process that you guys walked through. And I think I launched ads on a Thursday night. And then that Monday I had like 6 sales calls scheduled. And so it's been awesome. I now know that I can consistently generate 4, 5, 6, up to 10 calls a week just based off of the ad angles that we're running and that, right, you guys recommend. They work very, very well. Very, very cheap cost per lead, but the lead quality is still high. And so now, I'm probably averaging 3 to 5 like qualified sales calls per week, sometimes higher than that. And then, like I said, of those, I'm closing 1 to 2 of them into $2,000 a month retainers, $1,500, $2,500, $500, and from there. And so now, and then like the big thing that I love about it is I was having to put so much time into LinkedIn DMs where, okay, I have to sit down and I need to send 100 requests a day, or I need to send 50 a day. And then whenever they respond, I need to text them back or message them back on LinkedIn and then try to get them on an appointment, whatever. It works on autopilot now. The funnel that we've set up in terms of the ad angles to run, the ads themselves, and then, actually booking them in, the process for that. And then one thing that I didn't have in place before was like the pre-call, like qualification and like actually making sure that they show up for the call. So that was huge. I started doing some of the stuff that you teach in there. That was amazing. So like of the 3 to 5, sometimes 10 calls that I get a week, a lot of them are showing up, and it's because I implemented those processes for actually doing it. And so I'm very confident that at this rate, I'm going to be able to get to 15K, 20K, 30K and above in the next 30 to 90 days, just historically based off of what I've been doing so far. And yeah, it might slow down, but like you said, I only spent in the first 30 days, maybe a little over 1,000, like 1,100, 1,200. And I made, 6,500 in revenue from there. And, with the business model that we have, right, overhead's not super high. So a lot of what I'm making is profit, right? I'm paying for like softwares and like ad spend, but a lot of what I made, like I immediately had a return. Like I was so shocked because I was like, okay, I thought I was going to have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on ads to get, one person to pay me like $2,000. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. So I did that. And now I'm like, okay, I just spent $1,000 and I added a little under 6 figures a year in reoccurring revenue. Like that's insane. And then it's just like reinvesting that. So now I can spend more money into ads and I'm going to get more leads and I'm going to book more of those leads and do appointments with the process that we have. And then with the sales process, I now know that I can consistently close people on AI services just following the proven process there. So mental shifts have been great. The amount of appointments I'm getting is great. The amount of new clients, night and day difference. It's all been great.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, one thing we didn't really talk about is like, how old are you?
23.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you're 23. It's not like you had prior experience, right? When it came to like working a corporate sales job or anything like that. This is all kind of like new to you. And just like for me, when I got started in this stuff, I never had any prior experience. I had actually dropped out of college. I think you graduated college, right? Okay, yeah. So you actually graduated from college, but didn't end up doing, I guess, something that you learned with your degree. But that's just really cool, right? That this is just a really cool opportunity right now where obviously AI is a new thing and it's something that can help businesses a ton. And if you have a proven process to get appointments, if you have a proven process to sell those people, a sales process that works very effectively, and you have an offer that gets people great results and isn't something that's being oversold, you're obviously in a very good position. Because I know you were kind of talking a little bit about how people that you're speaking to, and tell me a little bit more about this, correct me if I'm wrong, but people that you've been speaking with that are coming from the ads haven't really had conversations like the ones they're having with you about what you're going to do for them specifically. Like they haven't even been sold the offer that we've shown you to sell from a standpoint of what you're actually selling, what you're actually doing for your customers, which obviously makes the sales conversation, it makes everything a lot easier, right? Because you're selling something to a market that hasn't been sold it yet. It's not, the market's currently not saturated. So there's a massive opportunity simply because you're selling something that's never been offered before, right? So can you tell me a little bit more about that as far as what that's kind of been like? Or is that correct?
No, yeah, 100%. Like I jump on calls with these business owners and a lot of the interest initially is for like AI services, right? And so I jump on with them and I figure out that, yes, they're really interested in AI services and, they haven't been sold in this specific offer, right? A lot of this stuff is like, oh, we'll run your marketing for you, we'll run your Facebook ads. And, that like everybody's doing that. And so coming in with the new ad angle of that, I'll jump on with these people and they're very, very open to talking because, they see it in the news. They see the, oh, new open AI does this and AI this and chat GPT 5 this. Like I'll get on calls with like a 60-year-old guy and he's like, oh yeah, I use chat GPT 5 daily. And like, I'd use it for my recipes or like whatever like that. And so they're like, yeah, I'm just curious on, how I can implement it in my business. And then it's such a relatively easy sell because they know that AI is, the new thing in that, a lot of people are implementing it. And if they don't do it, their competitors will, and they're going to be left behind. It's like whenever, like, .coms became a thing, like websites became a thing. Like the people didn't want to, right, have a website, their competitor did, and they took over. So now they know that, hey, when you do something with AI, what we offer with the AI agency is it lines up directly with, the parts of their service business that a lot of times they need help with. And so the calls have been great. They've been very open to hearing about what we have to say. And a lot of the times they're like, oh, I've never had somebody, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I didn't know that you could do that. And so it's been very good conversations. It's such a good offer because, like I said, nobody else is really doing it. And so we offer this, and I'll get on calls and it's like I walk through everything that we do. And they're like, oh, the people that I've gotten on calls with before, like people I've worked with before, they only do like this one, like very like small thing. Like they only like run ads. And so everything else that we offer for the other parts of the business, they love it, and obviously, right, gets good results for them.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's one thing that took me a long time to figure out, because obviously when I had running an agency for 7 years, that's how long we've been running ours for, I've had so many of these conversations, and I had to figure out, how do I make what we're doing completely different, like not sound completely different, to get people to go, oh yeah, that's something I've never done before. Absolutely. I'd love to do that. And so it's cool to see it like working in other industries as well, just because, everyone is kind of selling the same old stuff of, we'll run your ads, we'll get you leads, and maybe they follow up with their leads, maybe they don't. But so few people actually do the things that we do prior to even running the ads in the way that we do it, which really gets people to go, okay, I'm speaking to somebody that really knows what they're talking about, and is somebody that could probably help me out, and it's not anything that I've ever done before, which again just makes the whole entire conversion process, that much easier. Because obviously you coming into this, having only worked with like a couple other people, it's not like you've had these conversations a lot. Like, you're still pretty new to this stuff. You've probably only had maybe like 20 to 30 sales calls at this point.
Yeah, about.
Right. So to like have had only 20 to 30 sales calls, and you're able to get that type of a response, that type of a conversion rate, is just really exciting. So I'm just pumped for you to see, what you're able to do here in like the next 90 days. But one thing I'm curious on too is, let's say for example, like you were starting all over again, or let's say for example, you were speaking with somebody that was curious or interested in starting a business like this. What would you kind of tell them now, knowing what you know now, being able to kind of see like, okay, I really have a good strategy in place where I know for a fact, I can get this business to start going in the direction I want it to be, which would be a business that, you could eventually sell in the future for, millions of dollars, and obviously make millions of dollars from as well.
Yeah, I would say it's all about having the correct information. Like, it just comes down to that. Like, you could go out and you could try to like piece together everything, which is what I did before. Go watch all these different people and all these different courses and stuff. But having the information on, okay, this is how you should run the systems inside your business and the service delivery, and like what you're actually doing for clients, and like how to get clients. Like, take the guesswork out of it and just go find somebody that has done it before and is actively doing it, and just have them show you how to do it. Like, to the point to where you can turn your brain off and you can say, oh, I'll just follow this very well written checklist and I'll be able to get results. Like, go get the right information. And for me, the right information was this right here. The reason that I'm at where I am in my business right now is because the information that you guys put out. And so I would just say, whatever you have to do, get in front of the right people so that they can tell you what to do.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that's good advice, because like I said, it took me like 6 months to get our first customer. And prior to that, I was just on YouTube consuming so much different information. And it was very very frustrating to where it got to the point where I was like, I just have to actually start trying and do some stuff and see what happens. And then once I got my first customers, I had no idea what I was doing. I realized that what I had learned over that 6 months really wasn't really useful information. And then I actually ended up finding someone just like me now that had gotten to where I wanted to get, and I ended up working with him, and my business changed radically quick. Right. So nothing new there, but appreciate you hopping on, man. I'm really excited to see what obviously happens in the future. And it's good speaking with you, man.
I love it. You as well. Pumped for it.
Cool.